Hello guys and welcome to Odds on Champions League. We have a special show today with the second leg of the semi-finals, and this is a live video. So we want all of you, of course, to ask any questions or to tell us your opinion. We are going to analyze, as always, these two games with Álvaro Romeo and Dani Fisichella. Hi guys.
Hello. Hello.
So leave a comment in the video and you will have the chance to win. Remember, £10 free bet with no bet. And of course, if you enjoy our videos, click on the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell to get all the notifications. So guys, we only have three games left actually in this Champions League. So let's analyze the game we have on Tuesday. Man City PSG. It looks like it's almost done for the citizens after the victory in the Parc des Princes, 1-2. The odds actually for the City to qualify is only 1.12. For PSG is 6. But for the game, of course, is a bit higher. The odds for Man City, 1.76. The thing, Danny, is that after seeing what we saw, especially in the second half in Paris, Man City is really favorite. They showed a good reaction after conceding that first goal by Marquinos.
And the key of the analysis, Edu, I think, is the word second half, actually 2 words. Because in the second halves of this season, that's where Manchester City come into life and show most of the time their best faces. If you look at the stats, for example, 6 of the last 8 wins of Man City, they won the second half. Why? That's how they did in Paris as well, and that's how they did at Palace, for example. That's what they did in the EFL Cup against Tottenham. Why? Because in the first half, Manchester City tend to settle down, dominates the possession, suffocates the opponent, and basically tires them out. In the second half, that's when they go for the killer blow, and often in the second half of games, they score in quick succession. You will see Manchester City scoring within 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. That's why, because at the end, all the volume of play that they produce materialize and concretely, they become more concrete at the end. Obviously, when the opposition sometimes have lapses of concentrations, they tire, etc. Only 2 clean sheets in the last 8 for Guardiola. That means they are not perfect at the back, and sometimes they also switch off, as in the occasion of the goal of Marquinhos. And most of the time as well in the Premier League, Ederson has to make a couple of saves, but they come into the game rested because Guardiola's made 8 changes at Palace with the title in the pocket. They could have won it if Liverpool had played and won against Manchester United, and with the conviction that this is basically, I think, for Man City now or never. This is the best chance they have to lift the trophy. In the second half against Paris Saint-Germain, they won by passing the ball. They pass. And the goals, the circumstances of the goals, they were lucky, of course. But the way Manchester City played and the way they won the game, there is nothing lucky about them. They totally deserve the game. Now, the only question with Manchester City is they sometimes don't score enough for what they create. They seem to win by the odd goal recently, 2-1, 1-0. Okay, the weekend was 2-0, but it's been on the balance for a lot. Do they need Aguero now that he's back? He only started 2 games since March, only played 5 games, of course, was injured. 4 goals so far this season, a great goal. He looks sharp against Palace. Do they need him? Guardiola said, I like him as a man. He's a great guy. But I don't understand. Do you actually like him as a player as well? Because remember, Guardiola is going to let him go for free at the end of the season. But is he going to be the man maybe to unlock the difficult games, which this one could be? Let's go to the odds. I mentioned the second half. Manchester City to win the second half, that pays 2. Maybe you can go for a Manchester City win, but the first half is a draw, so draw home, that pays 5. Or under 3 goals, so similar to the first leg, 1.95. If there are 3 goals, you get your stakes back.
Alvaro, in this Champions League, we saw the best version of PSG playing away, especially in Barcelona. They were able also to beat Bayern de Munich. They were quite lucky, I would say, but they beat the German side there. But in the Parc des Princes, we saw a very shy team. They only attempted one shot in the second half. Mbappe didn't attempt any shot in the whole game. This is something really unusual. For sure, they will need to try in the Etihad. How many chances do you give to this PSG against Man City after seeing what we saw last week?
It's going to be difficult. I think that in the first leg, the game was more even than it looked, and I think that wrong conclusions were made out of scoreline, because if the goalkeepers had saved the stoppable, it would have been a draw. But I think that Kylian Navas was very bad in Kevin De Bruyne's goal. But Manchester City, they played better in the second half, but they didn't create that many chances. I'm sorry, but I read some conclusions in the UK a day after Manchester City won in Paris. I read some conclusions that I disagreed very much with. I think that I've seen English teams doing better performances away than Manchester City did in Paris last week. For example, Manchester United against Juventus in 1999 was for me the epitome of the best performance of English teams in Europe away. I don't think that Manchester City was that good against PSG the other day, and I believe that if they had only drawn, we will be talking about them not scoring enough goals, which is something that Daniele has flagged already. Look, I think that the good thing for Manchester City is that they are not in the title race anymore because they have won the title effectively. They will win the title this weekend if they beat Chelsea, which, by the way, I think that game against Chelsea is going to determine something, because if the Champions League final is also against the Blues, I think that Manchester City needs to get into that final with a win over Chelsea after they lost against them in the FA Cup semi-final. That will be good for their confidence. If they beat Chelsea this weekend, they will lift the trophy, number one. And number two, they will beat Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel, which is something that Pep Guardiola hasn't done yet. I think that Paris Saint-Germain, they are not going to particularly suffer from Idrissa Gueye's suspension. I don't rate that player that much. I think that Ander Herrera or Danilo, but especially Ander Herrera, can offer much more creativity. So PSG needs to attack, and Ander Herrera is a better midfielder, better equipped for that kind of football than Idrissa Gueye was anyway. And I think that it's going to be one of those tight games. I think that the game is going to roll out more or less like this. Pep Guardiola said after the game against PSG that they had to be themselves, and that is what they weren't in the first half against PSG. That is what they were in the second half against PSG. What is it to be themselves? Number one, to control the game. Number two, to give short passes. This is very important. So the players are very close to each other when they lose the ball, and therefore PSG cannot counterattack. And I can see PSG probably sending many long balls to Kylian Mbappe, and Mbappe having one-on-ones with Kyle Walker, who seems to be very motivated to play against a very quick player like Mbappe too. So that duel is going to be quite important for the development of the game. If Kyle Walker stays very focused, tuned, and he seemed to be in Paris, I think that Kylian Mbappe will find it difficult. But anyway, PSG, we know how dangerous they can be, and I expect them, having 2 or 3 chances during the game. Definitely having 2 or 3 chances during the game. So I'm going for the following. I think that if you put a decent amount into your bet, the both teams to score market is good, because that pays 162. If you put $3, $4, $5, obviously you get a good return. The Asian handicap 0 for PSG is something that I could back here. That pays 374. If they win, you win. If they draw, there is a stake refund. And the double chance for PSG, all this, if you trust on them, is very good as well. That pays 227. But if you trust Manchester City, it's more difficult to find the value there. So I had to combine a couple of odds to get a good return there. So it will be City to win plus under 3 goals in the game. That pays 343. And I believe that if Manchester City goes through in this tire, it's going to be in a low-scoring game, because they are going to make sure that they escort Rodri with the fullbacks and with Gundogan. So every time they lose the ball, they control the counterattacks.
Shuban is telling us goal-less draw, I think, 0-0, 1-1, for instance. Alvaro is talking about controlling the game. Danny, would you go also for a low scoring game? If we check the odds actually for under 2.5 goals, we have odds 2.55 right now on Oddspedia.com. If we go to over 2.5 goals, 1.58. So for sure the bookies expect a lot of goals, having Mbappe, Neymar, and all the Bruyne, Mahrez, all the stars that we have on the pitch.
But my pick would be under 3 goals, as I said before, 1.95. So this is a little bit safer, so you can get your stake back. You know, it's a bit difficult to go in such a games. But to answer a friend, 0-0. You know, the 0-0 has disappeared. Probably in the modern football, the 0-0 has been pretty much killed. So I wouldn't go for that. But it is true that the strength of Pep Guardiola's team this season is in the defense, not just in the defense, it's a defensive approach. You have to think about it. Aymeric Laporte now is a reserve. He plays every other game. He's part of the turnover, and he's a brilliant player. But that's because the way Diaz and Stones are playing together. So, he has a lot of resources in that department as well. He's playing with Rodri. He's more anchored next to the defense. I think he's found more balance in that regards, and I think that's probably credit to him and for the team for adapting so well, and that's why sometimes Manchester City, come out in the second half, I think.
So you guys give any chance to PSG? If I didn't understand wrongly, Alvaro does after seeing
Edu, just very simply, I think that of course Manchester City is the favorite. That's why I flagged a couple of good odds for them, but I think that PSG, yes, they have a chance, definitely. And I believe that having so much firepower up front, this is a team that you can never discard or you can never write off, yeah.
No, absolutely. I agree with Albert. I mean, the first half of PSG against Man City was good, was really good, and they capitalized on mistakes. But I think, the away goal rule counts in these regards, and I think for City not to go through, they'll have to really get a wrong approach on the game. So I give City 70% chances to go to the final.
Actually, in the history of the Champions League or European Cup, there have been 47 times that an English side won the first leg in a two-legged knockout. And every time they won away, all of them, they progressed. So history is with Man City, and also they are the first English side to win 6 consecutive Champions League games. The last one to do so was Leeds United in 79 and 69-70. So history stats are for Man City, but they have never qualified for a Champions League final. They have it in their hand right now. So okay, we analyze the game we have on Tuesday and on Wednesday. We have another balance, one even more, of course, after seeing the first leg, but probably actually is balanced in the scoreline. It was not as balanced in the game, the way of playing, because Chelsea was way, way, way better than Real Madrid, especially in the first half. In this case, Real Madrid had a lot of absentees, and that I think we have to highlight it, because Marcelo and Carvajal especially, they were not fit at all to play that game, and they will miss Carvajal for sure, and Marcelo probably will be on the bench for the tie in Stamford Bridge. Zidane is recovering some key players. Kroos and Modric, they both played, but they were very, very tired against in the first leg. Both will perform also on Wednesday. Hazard probably can start. He looks fit. And Chelsea, they beat Fulham. They rested also a lot of players in the weekend. They showed how good they are, and also Tuchel showed how good he is when playing for against Real Madrid. No, Real Madrid have never beaten Tuchel, have never beaten also Chelsea. So, Danny, what do you think here? Odds 2.25 we see for Chelsea, Real Madrid 3.6. I think Real Madrid have a chance for sure, and they will improve a lot considering the way they played last week. How do you see this game?
Things can only get better for Real Madrid from the first leg. However, they play a Chelsea team that kept another clean sheet. That's already 30 in this season, record in Europe. And arguably, they have the best keeper in Europe at the moment, or at least the most informed keeper is Mendy. He was extraordinary again against Fulham.
What?
I think he is. I think at the moment, if you look at the numbers...
Eduard Mendy, the best goalkeeper in Europe.
Yes, at the moment, yes. Today...
Only because he's not conceding.
Because he makes amazing saves. Amazing saves. Name me 3 goalkeepers at the moment today.
Ter Stegen, Jan Oblak.
Ter Stegen, Jan Oblak. I missed the third one.
Courtois.
No, I think Mendy is in between them for sure. At the moment, I think he's one of the most informed goalkeeper in Europe. I'm not okay. Maybe not the top one, but in the first 3 for sure. Anyway, and also because he's not conceding. I mean, at the end of the day, he's not conceding. So it is confident. He makes great saves. Chelsea defense is their strength. However, are they going to live to regret having missed so many chances in Valdebebas? They could have killed the game. And Real Madrid is a beast that you need to kill when you can, because they come back.
You have to kill 5 times.
5 times, the cat, they got 7 lives, but they come back and haunt you. I will be interesting to see the selection of Thomas Tuchel, because against Real Madrid, he played basically a 5-3-2, because the wing backs, Azpilicueta and Chilwell, they are full backs in reality. Is Azpilicueta going to play again, or there is more attacking chances with Reece James or Callum Hudson-Odoi? Has he done it before? Because I think Chelsea needs to take the game on Real Madrid. They cannot just wait and attend and play for the 0-0. However, for Tuchel, the good news is that they could rest Jorginho fully. Kante only played 30 minutes, so they come there rested, but I think he's got a few selection doubts in his mind. For Real Madrid, at the weekend, another greened out result. It wasn't great, but they did the job. I think Zidane again has got a quite important selection to make, because Sergio Ramos, if I'm not wrong, is back. So is Zidane gonna switch to a back 4 with Sergio Ramos and Varane if he's fit, or is he gonna keep Militao in? Because Militao, at the moment, I know that we don't like the best 2, but he's one of the most informed central defender of Europe at the moment. I mean, probably in a month's time we'll do another discussion, but at the moment it's really important. Is he gonna play? Can Zidane play with a back 3 maybe and mirror what Chelsea does? So there's a lot of questions there. But it is true that, as I said before, things can only get better for Real Madrid because Hazard has played more minutes. Mendy probably is going to be back. So we're going to see a different proposition. The bench is going to be full again with Federico Valverde, Lucas Vazquez. So again, Zidane can play all of his cards. I remember Real Madrid seeing them against Inter away, against Atalanta, against Mönchengladbach. They were not great, but they score when they needed to. And this could happen again in the game against Chelsea. So my odd is Real Madrid to qualify, 235. So I stick to what I said in the previous program, or a first half draw, 210, a little bit more safe. So I'm curious to see what Alvaro says about keepers and not only.
History is also against Real Madrid. When they draw at home the first leg, they are out. But, this is a very strange season also with, of course, we know there will be no public in Stamford Bridge. Alvaro, you also give Real Madrid a chance after being alive for this second leg. And also seeing we haven't mentioned the name Benzema, that he's keeping scoring and scoring. He scored an amazing goal also coming from out of nowhere in the first leg. Or you trust Chelsea? They were better for sure in the first leg. Kante was excellent, and they will also show this strength in the midfield that we said that Real Madrid probably they have the best midfield in the world, where when Modric, Kroos and Casemiro are fit, but Modric and Kroos especially, they were out of form in last week.
Many questions there. To start with, from all the odds I have chosen, none of them refer to who qualifies or who wins for this game. But anyway, yes, answering to your question, I do believe that Real Madrid has a chance. Yes, definitely, yes. When it comes to the goalkeepers, one of the professionals that I admire the most is Daniele Fisichella. So I will take his words, but I believe that there are better goalkeepers than him. I don't think that clean sheets determine how good the goalkeeper is, because that is a joint combination of defenders and the team structure plus the goalkeeper doing good saves. But anyway, the truth is that Mendy has been impressive this season, even though I see a mistake coming round the corner every time he comes out his box, or he comes out his, a small 6-yard box. I think that he's not very safe there. But anyway, back to the game. Let's begin by saying that Chelsea left Real Madrid escape alive in the last game at Valdebebas, and I think that Chelsea could have killed the Tiger, but they didn't for one reason, and this is something that they have to flag here. We all expected in summer 2020 that Chelsea was going to be another type of team. We thought that they were going to be more attacking, free-flowing. The kind of players they signed were sending our opinion in that direction. But then Thomas Tuchel arrived, and Chelsea became a team that basically recovered Antonio Conte's 3-4-3 template, and they are being very solid at the defense, and they are having some problems sometimes to attack. And in fact, I'm going to give you some numbers for you to see. As Daniel said, Chelsea has kept already 30 clean sheets this season, 17 of them with Thomas Tuchel in 22 games. So defensively, this team is a beast. But attacking-wise, this Chelsea is not a good team. Since Thomas Tuchel's arrived, and these details and these numbers I'm going to give refer only to the Premier League, not to the Champions League, but you are going to get an idea. Since Thomas Tuchel arrived, Chelsea is the first team in shots in the Premier League, in shots on target and chances created. But they rank only 16th in shot conversion. 16th out of 20 in the Premier League. There are 15 teams that convert their chances better than Chelsea since Thomas Tuchel arrived. This is not a good thing for a team that spent over 150 million pounds in Havertz, Werner, and Ziyech, among some other players. So I think that this Chelsea team, the next decisive step they are going to make towards winning the domestic title is going to be when one of those players that they spend a lot of money for, they make a step forward and they become the players they were. Ziyech at Ajax, Werner at Leipzig, and Havertz at Bayer Leverkusen. Not until they become those players, Chelsea will never be able to get 90 points or more in the league, which is what's needed right now to win the Premier League. However, in the knockout competitions, this great defense is giving them the chance to win the FA Cup final and win the Champions League, because they are only 2 games away from winning their second Champions League. And I think that this weekend, Thomas Tuchel managed to rest some players. Kai Havertz, the striker of Chelsea, scored a brace, good for him. And Fulham basically didn't even create a chance. I don't remember, I commentated on Chelsea-Fulham on Saturday, and I never mentioned the striker of Fulham, Josh Maya, because he was so well escorted and so well defended that he didn't even touch the ball. So credit to Chelsea's defense. When it comes to Real Madrid, they are in a very good run, actually. They haven't lost in the last 19 games. They got 34 points out of the last 42 in La Liga. And the question for me here is, how many players who are not fully fit is going to field Zinedine Zidane together? Because Zinedine Zidane could do something like playing Valverde, Ramos, who else is there? Kroos, Modric, and Hazard together. But none of those players are 100%. So for me, in this game, Zinedine Zidane has to be clever and think about how many players not being 100% you can put together on the pitch. Because let's not forget that Chelsea has a lot of intensity and they are getting to this part of the competition in a great physical form. So for me, the key question is that I expect the game to be a little bit more attacking-minded by Real Madrid this time. Real Madrid this time, they have to make sure that every possession they have ends up with a shot, which is something that they didn't do at Anfield the last time because they wanted to prevent Liverpool from having the ball and they kept the possession for too long. This time they will have to finish their possessions, Real Madrid. And I can imagine as well Chelsea throwing high balls on top of Real Madrid's defense. Actually, Pulisic scored that way against Real Madrid. And in the weekend, Kai Havertz scores the first goal against Fulham, also like that, with a high ball from Thiago Silva to Mason Mount. Mason Mount controlled the ball, passed it to Havertz, and that was a goal from Chelsea. So I think that Real Madrid will have to be very wary of their backs, especially Militao and whoever plays alongside him, and not to leave a lot of spaces behind. So I think that the game is going to be played more or less like this. My odds when it comes to this game are the following. These are my favorite. The under 2 goals, that pays 231. 0-0 in the first half. Daniel said a draw in the first half, I believe. I'm saying a 0-0 in the first half. That pays 265. And the next goal for Real Madrid, and this is probably my favorite of all, that pays 225.
You also see, Danny, low scoring game. If someone thinks there will be goals, there is money there. Over 2.5 goals is 2.33. Bookies expect under 1.7 for Real Madrid. Attempted, by the way, only one shot on target in the first leg. This is how good or how bad Real Madrid was attacking last week.
Yeah, I'm expecting a low-scoring game. The numbers are, quite damning for Chelsea. The numbers that Alvaro said is true. They don't convert many chances. And yeah, you always expect them. Something will change, something will click. But Chelsea are a great counter-attacking team. And sometimes when you always play on the counter-attack, you lose a little bit of sharpness in front of goal. Whereas Real Madrid, they could suffer from a goal drought. Yes, the weekend Casemiro and Militao scored, but we know how dependent they are from Benzema, especially lately with Vinicius being a little bit patchy. It will be interesting to see Hazard when he comes back to Stamford Bridge. Can he perform? 45 minutes of a good Hazard could unsettle the game completely, because I think if you look at the man on the pitch, aside the injuries, top Hazard is the best player of the 22 without the injuries, I think. But is he going to be in form? Is he going to be the Hazard we know at Stamford Bridge? He could be what makes the change for this game, but I still see Real Madrid favorite. I still see that sort of winning pedigree that a young Chelsea team perhaps doesn't have.
So, Danny, your final will be Man City, Real Madrid at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I stick to what I said previous video. Real Madrid, Manchester City.
You, Alvaro, you said PSG, Real Madrid, if I don't remember badly. Now?
Yes, I say that, but on the basis of what happened in the first leg, it's difficult to keep on defending that, Edu. So I'm going to go for Manchester City, Real Madrid, yes, as well. Like Daniel, and I think that is going to be a very nice final too. Let's don't forget that Pep Guardiola, I'm sure that he will find it particularly motivating to beat Real Madrid in a Champions League final. So I would love to see that.
All right. On Wednesday, after the game of Chelsea-Real Madrid, we will be analyzing that game and the odds of the final. The first reaction for you both guys after knowing the two teams that will play in Istanbul. Then thanks again for your analysis. Thanks everybody for commenting. You can still comment in the video and get a £10 free bet with Novibet. And of course, press the like button if you enjoy our video, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notifications, or listen to our videos in our podcast, also ready for you. Then Odds on Champions League is not stopping here. We will analyze the final twice, actually. Immediately when we know the two rivals, and then in the week previous to the final. Then thanks, guys, and see you very soon.
Ciao.